At that point, I'm not sure that either of us knew what we wanted to do. Again, our plans were coming apart. We kept following the Smalls, though. I noticed that even if they weren't moving very fast, they did seem to be moving as fast as they could, as if they were hurrying to get somewhere. Their arms and legs shifted around in the manner of prosthetic limbs, making them look almost crippled. Though not crippled so that you felt sorry for them, I should say, but maimed in a way that made you want to keep your distance, as if they could infect you with some dreadful condition. Eventually, we saw lights ahead. With an artificial radiance, they flooded the darkness on the other side of a hill that the small children were approaching. And when they got to the top of the hill, they paused for a moment, their silhouettes outlined against the sky by the lights shining on them from below. For a moment, it was a rather picturesque tableau. But soon, the small children did something with their heads, raising them up with a slow, mechanical motion by elongating their necks, like a telescope sliding open a little. Then they swiveled those heads around without moving their bodies, turning them just enough so that it seemed they were looking at me and my friend. Both of us dropped to the ground as if we had been shot. In the darkness, I heard my friend whisper, "Those rotten, horrible Smalls. You can never know what they're going to do. I hate them so much." "Yeah," I murmured in soft response. When we looked up from the ground, the small children were gone, no doubt having moved down the other side of the hill. It couldn't have been a very steep incline there, or so I calculated. Otherwise, the Small, with their awkward, practically disabled bodies, wouldn't have been able to negotiate the descent. But when my friend and I ran up to the hilltop, moving in a crouched position, we saw that it was almost a straight drop over the edge, and the small children were now walking like broken robots down below us. Their destination looked like a little toy town that was evidently under construction. "See?" my friend said. "My dad knew it. Pretty soon all of this land around here will be small country." They were moving around like mad in a kind of pit. Stretching out for about a mile was a half-built town that was almost a double of the town where my friend and I lived. The Smalls were hopping around in a frenzy to finish it, as if they were on a tight schedule. "Maybe they have to complete the place before a certain time," my friend conjectured. "Why else would they be working at night? Or maybe that's just the way they are," I thought. All kinds of small building machinery were positioned along the town's main street, though none of it was in motion. Small people who looked as if they were directing operations stood with their stubby arms outstretched, pointing in all directions or inspecting unrolled building plans held tightly by their tiny digits. Everyone seemed busy with some project, putting up storefronts that had little detail or identifying features, working on skeletal frameworks that maybe were going to be houses, or carrying around what appeared to be prefabricated parts that would ultimately be integrated into the toy town. On several street corners, small people were yelling through staticky bullhorns, but they didn't seem to be addressing anyone in particular, and what they were shouting wasn't distinguishable as anything but gibberish. As a matter of fact, just pure, natural fact, when I considered the scene before me, from its smallest to its most prominent features, the whole enterprise of the Small People's Town building seemed to be nothing but an act. They weren't building anything with point and purpose to its core, anything that was more than a spectral illusion. They were putting on a show.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it. at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.